My sister chose her wedding date knowing it was the same day as our little sister's graduation, and when we called her out on it, she said it didn't matter so we didn't go, and now half the family is mad at us for choosing our sister over her. A 23-year-old man, OOP, from a large family of 8 siblings shares his frustration over his sister Erin's decision to hold her wedding on the same day as their younger sister Nadia's high school graduation. Despite being aware of the scheduling conflict, Erin refused to change the date and dismissed the importance of Nadia's milestone, saying it didn't matter. This isn't the first time Erin has made herself the center of attention at family events, which has made the situation even more upsetting for OOP. Nadia has been looking forward to her graduation for a long time, and OOP feels she deserves to be celebrated. In support of Nadia, OOP and his brother Leo have chosen not to attend Erin's wedding. This decision has caused friction within the family, with their parents and others expressing disappointment. OOP stands by his choice, believing that consistently putting Erin's desires above others sends the wrong message. He's even considering not letting his son attend the wedding, and now he's asking whether he's in the wrong for defending his stance. Update. 2 days after the initial disagreement, OOP shared an update. Following a heated family argument, they remained firm in their decision to skip Erin's wedding. Alongside Leo and their older siblings, OOP defended their younger sister Nadia, revealing that Erin had deliberately chosen her wedding date to conflict with Nadia's high school graduation. Lydia, the eldest sibling, took a leading role in confronting both Erin and their parents, which ultimately led to their father scolding Erin for her behavior. During this confrontation, Erin's fiancé, George, expressed regret, admitting he hadn't realized the scheduling conflict was intentional. Their mother's attempts to persuade them to attend the wedding only worsened things, resulting in a decision to cut off contact with her. On a brighter note, OOP mentioned that their relationships with their father and grandmother have since improved, and Nadia was able to fully enjoy her graduation celebration. Despite lingering family tensions, OOP shared that they're focusing on positive experiences, planning outings and special moments together, and remain committed to putting Nadia first. Update. 5 months after the original family dispute, OOP shares that tensions have only worsened, particularly with their mother. Following Erin and her husband's return from their honeymoon, their mom intensified her efforts to mend fences by reaching out to each sibling individually and even visiting their homes unannounced. Despite this, the siblings stood firm in their decision to distance themselves. In contrast, their father began making genuine efforts to rebuild relationships, acknowledging past mistakes and apologizing for his neglect. He even took OOP on a long-awaited fishing trip, which marked a meaningful turning point in their bond. Meanwhile, their mother's unwillingness to take responsibility led her to give the siblings the silent treatment. Eventually, their father moved out, distancing himself from her behavior. Erin also tried to help their mom convince the siblings to reconcile, but her efforts fell flat. Now, as OOP plans their own wedding, they've made it clear that neither their mother nor Erin will be involved in the celebration. On a brighter note, Nadia has settled into college life and is thriving. While the family remains fractured, there have been hopeful signs of healing in some relationships. Update. It's been about 7 months since my last update, and I figured it was time for one. I meant to post earlier, but life got busy. A lot has happened, mostly positive, though there have been a few rough moments, mostly thanks to one person. You can probably guess who. Our mom stayed completely silent for Lydia's birthday in October, but made a huge public display for Erin's in November. None of us regularly check her social media, and we probably would have blocked her if it weren't for Lexi, but Leo sent a screenshot to the group chat. It was a post praising Erin as her perfect, precious daughter, no mention of Lydia at all. Sadly, none of us were surprised. Thanksgiving was different this year, but still wonderful. We drove out to our dad's parents' house to celebrate together. Technically, it was supposed to be my in-laws' turn, since Jade and I alternate holidays, but she suggested we spend it with my siblings this year, knowing it was the first major holiday since the family fallout. My in-laws were completely understanding and supportive, which I really appreciate. Our mom didn't reach out that day, but based on Lydia's post that excluded her and Erin, I'm sure the questions from others got under her skin. In December, she started a group chat with all of us, including Dad, telling us it was time to stop this petty drama and come together for the holidays. But we weren't fooled. We knew she just wanted to present a picture-perfect family at Christmas, and that wasn't happening when most of her kids wanted nothing to do with her. Erin was in the chat but didn't say anything, which was unusual, but we brushed it off. Dad said he'd come by to see Lexi but wouldn't spend Christmas with Mom unless she acknowledged the pain she caused. My birthday passed not long after that, and like Lydia's, it was completely ignored, only confirming she still saw herself as the victim. As Christmas approached, her desperation grew. She started calling and messaging more frequently, which I mostly ignored. What I couldn't ignore was coming home from work to find her waiting on my doorstep. She said she'd been waiting for a while, as if I had intentionally avoided her. Honestly, I probably would have if I'd known she was coming. Thankfully, Jade and our son weren't home yet. She launched into a speech about Christmas being about family and forgiveness and accused me of using my son to punish her. I told her it was better this way because if Aaron ever had a child, we all knew mine would be sidelined just like the rest of us had been. She claimed I was overreacting and repeated her favorite line, "I love you all equally." I asked her to leave. I stood firm and told her I wasn't changing my mind, and I wasn't spending the holidays with her. She got angry and started yelling. I wish I could say I kept my cool, but I didn't. I yelled back. And then I cried, years of hurt boiling to the surface. I'll never understand how she can claim to love us all the same, yet tell her crying son to stop being dramatic. She only left when Jade came home and saw me breaking down. Jade may be small, but she's fierce, and she'd do anything to protect me and our son. I think Mom actually left that day scared of her. The social media post started up again. Our mom went back to playing the victim, sharing things about ungrateful children and how we didn't value the sacrifices she made. She posted that we didn't appreciate all she had done for us, but we all ignored it. We had our own Christmas plans. Jade, our son, and I spent the morning with her parents, watching our little boy and his cousins open presents. After that, we went to Lydia's, who hosted everyone this year. Dad took over the kitchen, joined by Josh and Lydia's husband. We didn't see Mom or Aaron until January, when Lexi turned 5. Of course, we weren't going to miss our little sister's party just because of our mom. There were a few curious glances and questions, but people backed off once it was clear we weren't interested in explaining the situation. Mom acted like nothing had happened, while Aaron kept her distance. Toward the end of the party, as we were cleaning up, Mom commented that it was good we were finally moving past everything. Lydia flatly told her the only thing we were moving past was her. That set Mom off, but she quickly realized she was outnumbered and went back inside. Then, Aaron approached us with her husband. I expected some guilt trip or plea to go easy on Mom, but instead, she apologized. She said she'd done a lot of thinking since everything went down and realized she'd mistreated us for most of our lives, a pattern she now saw was influenced by our parents' favoritism. She didn't ask for forgiveness, just wanted to say she was sorry. We left not long after. We didn't hear anything from Mom for Leo's or Nadia's birthdays in January and February, but we weren't surprised. Our birthdays never mattered much to her anyway. In April, I got married without my mom there. It was easily one of the best days of my life, second only to my son's birth. Jade and I were surrounded by people who truly loved and supported us. Both of my brothers stood beside me as my best men, and Nadia and Lydia were bridesmaids. Everything about that day felt perfect. Honestly, I still can't believe I get to call Jade my wife. It's been amazing. As for how my mom took the wedding news? Not well. I had hoped, maybe naively, that she wouldn't find out about the wedding. Of course, that didn't happen. A few days after the invites went out, she showed up at my house, banging on the door and demanding answers. I went outside but refused to let her in. I didn't want her near my son or inside our home. She ranted, asking how I could be so heartless, how I could leave her out of such an important day. I told her simply, my wedding was for the people I loved and felt close to. She didn't fall into either of those categories anymore. She made her choices, now she had to live with them. I was genuinely worried she might try to crash the wedding. She came by a few more times, but finally stopped when I told her I'd call the police if she showed up again. I didn't want to go that far. I didn't want to see my mom get into legal trouble, but every visit just left me feeling emotionally exhausted. She kept pushing the same narrative, that I was a horrible son, while posting all over social media. Some extended family even reached out, telling me I should invite her, questioning my character. I told them they could lose their invites too if they kept pushing. That shut it down. No one mentioned her at the wedding, and thankfully, she didn't show up. She did try to prevent Lexi from being our flower girl, but Dad stepped in and shut that down immediately. Which brings me to the final point, my parents are officially over. Dad filed for divorce back in February, and he hasn't looked back. Honestly, it's still hard to believe how much he's changed. Just last year, he was no different than Mom favoring Aaron, dismissing the rest of us. But now? He stands up for us. Anytime Mom tries to post something belittling or manipulative, Dad counters with something supportive and uplifting. He's come a long way. I never thought I'd have such a strong bond with my dad, but here we are. Back in March, we helped him move into his own place, and honestly, he's like a completely different person. He's arranged a 50-50 custody agreement for Lexi, not because he doubts he could get full custody, but because he wants to believe that Mom is capable of changing, just like he did. That said, he's made it clear that if he sees even the slightest sign that Lexi is being treated the way we were, he won't hesitate to pursue full custody. As for my siblings, things have been going well for them too. Leo recently got a raise at work and adopted a dog that my son is absolutely obsessed with, so much so that we might end up getting one ourselves. Josh and his partner are thriving. His partner fits seamlessly into our family, and I genuinely couldn't be happier for him. He's clearly found someone who truly cares for him, and you can tell he's in love. Maybe a wedding is on the horizon? And Lexi? Well, she's 5, so life is mostly tea parties and imagination right now. Pretty sure she recently roped my dad into joining one of her tea parties, which says a lot about how far he's come, too. Quick edit TOADD, Lexi is obviously aware that things have changed. She's naturally confused about it all. Things changed so much in the space of a year, and I can't imagine what it was like for her living with our parents when mom was angry all of the time. We've let her know that we'll always be there for her and that we're safe spaces if she needs to talk about her feelings or if she has any questions to ask. We don't want this affecting her more than it already has. Josh is the one who's made headway on that. He works in childcare and has experience in things like this. Dad is thinking about setting up therapy for her. I'm sure many of you are wondering about Nadia and Aaron. Let's start with Nadia. She's doing incredibly well. Honestly, being away from our mom, Aaron, and all the stress at home seems to have given her space to discover who she is. She's made new friends, she's excelling in school, and most importantly, she just seems genuinely happy. And if she's happy, then I'm happy too. Now that Dad has his own place, he's invited her to move in with him and Lexi. She hasn't made a decision yet, but she knows she's welcome to stay here as long as she likes. That said, I understand she wants to build a stronger connection with our dad, and I completely support her. I've told her she's free to give it a shot and that if it doesn't feel right, she can always come back. No pressure, just love and support, whatever she chooses. As for Aaron, that's a more complicated situation. We're not completely no contact anymore, but we've shifted to low contact. After she apologized at Lexi's birthday, Leo reached out to see if it was sincere. Honestly, none of us really knew what to do. Aaron never used to apologize, especially not genuinely. We were all skeptical, was this real, or just another attempt to get us to forgive mom? When Leo reached out, Aaron asked to meet with all of us face to face. We agreed, more out of curiosity than anything else, but we made it clear to each other, the moment she crossed a line, we'd walk out and cut ties again. That meeting happened in mid-January, between Lexi and Leo's birthdays. We met at her place, and Aaron looked like she hadn't slept in days, completely unlike her. She's usually so polished, even when she's being dramatic, but this time she looked wrecked. We sat down and she immediately started with another apology. She admitted to being cruel and unfair to all of us, especially Nadia, and even apologized for trying to sabotage her graduation. She said when we all pulled away from her wedding plans, it caught her off guard. She didn't expect it, because none of us had ever stood up to her before. She thought we were close, but now realizes it was a one-sided belief. In reality, we just wanted distance from her. We asked her hard questions, and to her credit, she answered all of them. When we asked why she ever thought we were close, she explained that our parents always treated her better and encouraged her behavior, so when we stayed quiet, she assumed we were okay with how things were. When asked if she'd ever felt bad before all this, she admitted she hadn't. It had just been normal for her to be the center of everything. She's only now starting to unlearn that. And when we asked why this change was happening now, she said it came down to her husband, George. He had tried talking to her about the way she treated us several times, but she brushed him off, claiming we were fine with it. He hated that answer. Still, he loved her and held on to hope that she'd change. But things escalated when she announced their engagement on Lydia's anniversary, and again when she scheduled their party on Nadia's birthday. George couldn't understand how she could be so heartless toward her own family. Aaron told him he didn't understand how things worked in our family, and that we were cool with it. The incident with Nadia's graduation nearly destroyed their relationship. George admitted he was on the verge of leaving her. How she convinced him to stay, I don't know. She said she was on our mom's side for a while because she really did think we were just acting out. We'd never been like this before, so why were we like this now? She didn't get why we were ignoring her, why we'd suddenly cut her off, and admittedly had a breakdown over it. George told her we'd likely been carrying that hurt and bitterness with us for years. She said that she knew she was a brat, but didn't realize how bad she really was until George and our dad laid it all out for her. That's why she told mom to leave us be, so that we could have peace from it all, and it turns out dad wasn't the only one bearing the brunt of mom's anger. She was constantly blasting Aaron's phone, turning up at her place, dragging our names through the mud. It got worse when dad moved out, and suddenly Aaron was all she had in the world. Mom called us awful names that Aaron, thankfully, didn't repeat. Mom told Aaron that she was all she had now. George spoke up about how difficult things had been with our mom. He shared that there were many times he'd come home to find Erin just sitting and staring at her phone as it rang, too anxious to answer. She knew that ignoring it for too long would only mean Mom showing up at her door. I know Erin was terrible to us for a long time even from childhood, but it still hurt to see her like that. In her own way, I think she was a victim of Mom's behavior too, just in a very different form. Erin told us she'd wanted to reach out earlier but assumed we wouldn't want to hear from her. Seeing us at Lexi's party, though, she couldn't stop herself. She felt like she had to say sorry. When we left that meeting, our feelings were all over the place. Erin had a long history of being selfish and manipulative. She constantly tried to steal the spotlight, and she never let our achievements be our own. What she did at Nadia's graduation is proof enough of that. But that day, she looked different, tired, worn down, genuinely remorseful. And part of me didn't want to believe it was all a show just to win us back, or worse, to sneak our mom back into our lives. None of us knew what the right next step was until Jade came up with an idea. She suggested inviting Erin to our wedding reception, not the ceremony, just the part after dinner. A few friends were arriving around then anyway, due to scheduling conflicts. That way, if Erin tried anything like bringing Mom, security would catch it and we'd know if she'd really changed. Well, Reddit. Erin came to the reception. She didn't bring Mom. She didn't even mention her. She arrived with George, and when she saw me, she broke down in tears as she congratulated me. She told Jade she looked beautiful and gave my son a big hug. At one point, she pulled Nadia aside, and when they came back, both of them had clearly been crying. Later, Nadia told me that Erin had taken the moment to give her a personal, sincere apology. She said she wasn't sure if she'd ever have another chance to say it directly. George came up to me afterward and thanked me for giving Erin that opportunity. He said that underneath everything, Erin really does have a kind, warm heart. I told him I truly hope to meet that side of her someday. And I meant it. If there's a version of Erin out there who is compassionate and sincere the sister George sees, then I'd love nothing more than to know her. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Hey OP, you didn't mention Lydia when talking about your siblings. And that was intentional. Because here's the thing, it's actually a good thing Dad moved out of her spare room. She's going to need that space soon. And she's not the only one. I already knew Lydia was pregnant. She sat down with me and Jade privately to tell us, worried about how it might affect her bridesmaid duties and whether she needed to step down. Of course, we told her not to even think like that, and promised to cover any alterations to her dress if needed. What I didn't know was what Jade had planned for the wedding reception. She'd told me Lydia was going to make a little announcement during the speeches. I figured it was just going to be about the pregnancy, maybe letting extended family know. I was a little nervous, but since Jade was on board and Lydia had asked first, unlike someone else we know, I agreed. Reddit. Lydia got up and made this beautiful speech about becoming a mother, how excited she was for this next chapter, and how grateful she was to be sharing her pregnancy journey with Jade. And that's how I found out my wife was pregnant with our second child. I wish I could say I held it together, but I absolutely did not. I cried. Like, full-on ugly cried. I was overwhelmed with happiness after everything this past year, all the heartache, tension, and struggle. It all felt worth it in that moment. My friends are never going to let me live it down, but I don't even care. That moment, surrounded by love, support, and celebration, it was everything. Especially knowing how easily it all could have been derailed if Mom had been there, making it all about Erin and her drama again. Instead, it was just us. And it was perfect. I haven't really talked about how this past year has affected me emotionally. The truth is, for a lot of it, I felt like absolute garbage. There were days when I just wanted to disappear, to curl up and fade away. I felt worthless and broken, all because my mother convinced me that I was. There were times I couldn't even express what I was feeling, because Nadia was living with me, and I didn't want her to carry even more guilt than she already did. Now, though, I'm in therapy, I'm not the only one and I'm healing. For the first time in a long time, I feel genuinely happy. So incredibly, almost overwhelmingly happy that I can barely make sense of it. And I know my siblings feel the same way. Our mother might say that our family has fallen apart. But the truth is, her version of the family has. The one she tried to control, manipulate, and center around herself? That's the one that crumbled. Ours, the one we've built together, has only grown stronger. We've always had each other's backs, but now? It's like we've fortified every connection between us. We're walking away from all this with deeper bonds, a renewed relationship with our dad, and 2 new babies on the horizon. That's what our mom is missing out on, and it's entirely her own doing. Maybe I'll post another update down the line. I don't know if our mom knows about Lydia and Jade's pregnancies yet, though the news is out there. We've got her blocked on all our social media, so unless someone told her directly, she might still be in the dark. Aaron hasn't said anything, at least. If anything new happens with that, I'll share. But for now, I'm good. Better than good, actually. I'm content, surrounded by love, and finally at peace with where my life is headed. Thank you all again for your kindness and support. Wishing you a truly amazing day. Update. It's been almost a year since everything started, and as you'd expect, a lot has happened. I thought about waiting another couple of months to make this update on the actual anniversary, but honestly, I don't trust myself not to forget some of the details. Our mom found out about Lydia and Jade's pregnancies not long after my last post, and as you might guess, she didn't take the news well. Her anger turned toward Lydia and me and our partners, too. Suddenly, we were the worst people in the world. She even showed up at my house and screamed through the Ring doorbell, saying she was ashamed of how I turned out. I wish I could say her words don't affect me anymore, but they still cut deep. No matter what she's done, she's still our mother, and I think some part of each of us will always crave her love, no matter how misplaced that hope is. She took to Facebook like a storm, felt like she was posting 17 times a minute, making us out to be the villains who were unfairly keeping her from her rights as a grandmother. Our aunts began calling, telling us we were being ungrateful. One of them even ambushed Jade as she was coming home from work. Let's just say she didn't appreciate Jade telling her off. I've never cut someone out of my life so fast. Things escalated quickly. At one point, police had to escort Mom off Lydia's property. We initially hoped things would calm down, that maybe if we just waited it out, she'd back off. But after talking it over as a group, Lydia and I agreed that we needed to take legal action. I couldn't risk my family's safety anymore. Thankfully, we were both granted restraining orders, and fortunately, Mom has respected them so far. None of us, the four directly involved, have heard from her since. Unfortunately, not everyone has been so lucky. In July, Aaron finally cut Mom off too. Of course, Mom placed the blame on everyone but Aaron. First it was Lydia's fault, then mine, then Nadia's. She blamed our dad, Leo, and Josh. We all became enemies in her eyes, everyone except Aaron. And honestly, I wasn't even shocked. I hate how familiar the blame felt. I talk a lot about how happy we are now, but before that happiness came a lot of pain. We were heartbroken, furious, and deeply wounded. There were days I felt like I was barely surviving and Josh nearly didn't. No parent should ever make their child feel that way. I pray my kids never experience that kind of hurt, especially not from me. As for my dad, it's complicated. I love him deeply, but I also carry resentment. He's changed, he's working to be better, but he once resembled our mom far too much for comfort. He's currently fighting for full custody of Lexi. We've all come to accept that Mom isn't going to change, and the best thing we can do is make sure Lexi doesn't grow up like we did. She's still so young, and the idea of her living through the trauma we endured, possibly even worse, is unbearable. Right now, Mom only has visitation on weekends due to everything that's happened and the restraining orders in place. But Dad's not stopping there. Lexi has started saying she doesn't want to go back after her weekends with Mom, and that's only made Dad more determined to protect her completely. The legal fight continues. Erin has become a much more integrated part of our lives. She's not the same person I grew up with. This version of her is so much kinder. When I tell her stories now, she actually listens. She doesn't roll her eyes or tell me no one cares. She's far from perfect, but she's making an effort, and it shows. If we bring up something she's done wrong, she takes it in and apologizes. She's in therapy too. And the 6 of us, along with Dad, are on a waitlist for family therapy. We're hoping it helps us move forward, helps us truly heal. Our mom might be a lost cause, but Dad and Erin aren't, and honestly, that's more than I ever thought possible even 2 years ago. Nadia has absolutely thrived in her first year of college, and she's already crushing her second. She accepted Dad's offer to move in with him, though she knows my door is always open to her. She's learned to speak her mind more now, and she doesn't let Dad off easy anymore. She holds him accountable. What's really beautiful is that Nadia and Erin have finally built a relationship. They lived under the same roof for over a decade, but barely spoke. Erin used to look down on Nadia, and Nadia was too scared to challenge her. But now? Now they talk and tease each other like sisters, like they always should have. Erin even planned a girls' day for her, Lydia, and Nadia to celebrate Nadia's first year of college. This is the sister we always deserved, and we're the siblings Erin deserved too. We don't shrink away from her anymore. We're finally on equal ground. Erin has also fully embraced her role as an aunt to the next generation. That's right, my son isn't the only grandchild anymore. Lydia gave birth to a beautiful daughter in September. She's got a set of lungs like you wouldn't believe and strength that could rival an elephant, but she's absolutely adorable. Then in November, Jade gave birth to our second son. He's quieter than our oldest was, though he had a rough start with sleep. But both Lydia and Jade are doing incredible. I knew they would. Right now, I'm happy. I'm truly content. And my mother can't touch this part of our lives. This joy, this peace, it's beyond her reach. She'll never know these amazing children, and she'll never get to know the versions of us that have come out stronger, wiser, and more whole. I hope this will be my final update. I hope this calm lasts. Thank you all for the unwavering support you've given us. These past 2 years have been so heavy, and your kind words meant more than I could ever say.